what's right. Fight for your life.
Welcome to Wrestling with Racism, where we wrestle with racism every single day of our lives. If you are an American Negro and you are not subscribed to Wrestling with Racism, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they are wrestling fans or not. Today is another throwback edition of Wrestling with Racism, as we are still on our long-needed, much-appreciated vacation. But we will return on night one of SummerSlam live here on YouTube. This is a throwback to last year, as it is the 1-year anniversary of Hulk Hogan's death. If you have not viewed this edition, this is a powerful, strong rendition of truth. Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea were terrible, terrible human beings, if you could call them human beings, as they were racist and hateful toward American Negroes.
Now don't forget, I hated anybody that wasn't white. Now don't forget, I hated anybody that wasn't white.
The following program is dedicated to the truth of an American white racist bitch, Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. May he be uncomfortable from here on out.
The folks in Munchkin land with terror.
American Negroes have to stand up and recognize that racism shall not be tolerated from anyone toward American Negroes. What white America is showing, honoring an anti-Negro white supremacist bitch, is showing that they still honor racism here in America, right here in 2025. At that point, there's absolutely nothing to discuss with white folk. Violence is the only thing that can change this system. Isn't violence the way that Hulk Hogan was able to obtain freedom, justice, and equality in the World Wrestling Federation? White folk, let's not be hypocrites. Hulk Hogan was a piece of shit who entertained millions of American Negroes throughout history. Now that he's gone, his legacy remains on Peacock, and that's where it should stay. Hulk Hogan gone, y'all. This is the moment that we've been waiting for a very long time. Hulkamania may be dead, but racism still lives on, so long as there are white folk left on this earth. Hulk Hogan is a piece of shit. That's what he's going to be attempting to rest in as we continue to wrestle with racism. This is Hulk Hogan meeting with American Negro fans. Mind you, American Negroes view Hulk Hogan as a and Hulk Hogan view American Negroes as nigger.
Tell you what, boy, or get in that ring, boy. I'm ready for you because all you can do is shine my shoes, boy. You let me tell you what, my mama didn't raise her boy. You understand? She raised a 6'2", 250-pound man that will whoop your back, boy. You understand?
By and by, you knew that you made me.
By and by, you make me.
My love, you will never die.
Never die.
But I had to find out on my own.
Welcome to Wrestling with Racism, where we wrestle with racism every single day of our lives. If you are an American Negro and you are not subscribed to Wrestling with Racism, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they are wrestling fans or not. You may also find Wrestling with Racism on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Spotify, Rumble, and at Non-Crackers at Al on Twitter X, where you can find more white truths. Also, if you're an American Negro and an American Negro only, please feel free to comment below, letting us know how you feel about Hulk Hogan's tribute and Wrestling with Racism overall as a program. American Negroes and American Negroes only, please. On this week's edition of Wrestling with Racism, we take a look at the life and legacy of Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan, who died on Thursday, July 24th, 2025, just one day from my birthday. This is a day that we here at Wrestling with Racism has been waiting on. However, since it happened unexpectedly and other plans were in motion to celebrate HBK 400's birthday, we had to do a quick rush job to go through the history of Hulk Hogan, his life and his legacy on screen and behind the scenes. But we did pretty good pulling it off, as Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea life is well known. Hulk Hogan represents white trash. Terry Bollea represents the devil. American Negroes, it's getting hot out here, and white folk feel like their backs are up against the wall. And when white folk feel like their backs are up against the wall, they become vicious, they become dangerous, they become violent toward American Negroes. With that being said, protect yourself as an individual and protect one another.
The art of being black,
our ancestors,
is often an acrobatic act in defending black humanity in a world that worships a pale, long-haired Anglo-Saxon savior, even though the Bible clearly describes him as a bronze-skinned, woolly-haired Hebrew. And revisionist history continues right before our very eyes each time the importance of black lives is denied. What happens to unhealed souls left to linger in bodies that hold on to trauma? The immortal imprisoned by mortals who thrive on fears stoked by lies. And where do those souls go when the trauma is intergenerational? Uninformed race theory critics beget flag-waving parents professing patriotism who prefer their children pretend to be as blind to color as we purport Lady Liberty to be to justice. But she needs glasses so America can see how easy it is to be so indifferent to slavery when it's viewed solely as black history. But the holy truth is, Slavery is white history too. The art of being black.
Our ancestors.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, talking is cheap. But we can't all condemn the white man. There's something we got to do. The white man is doomed, but we got to help him on his way. And I don't mean in the jest of hate. I mean according to the plan of divine providence. He that has been up a long time must come down. He that's been down a long time must rise.
If you are an American and an American Negro, subscribe. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify, Rumble, and non-crackers that out. Twitter X, or white truths.
She is sure not pretty, and her skirt is short. Long knows the legs are steady. When you walk to school, she's got to get out early. Her clothes on, but they are never ever dirty. They're living just enough, for the city. The brother is smart. He's got more sense than me there. His patience is long, but soon he won't have any. But to find a job is like a haystack needle. Was where he lives, they don't use colored people. They're living just enough for the city.
And now, our future presentation.
But we can't all condemn the white man. There's something we got to do. The white man is doomed, but we got to help him on his way.
This is a message to white America. If you view Hulk Hogan as a real American and celebrate his life and condemn any American Negro that does not celebrate his life, not only are you a racist, but it makes America a racist country for openly celebrating an anti-Negro racist. Let's be clear, right here in 2025, racism is the #1 problem, not just in the WWE, not just in AEW, not just in TNA, but in America and worldwide. The whites has not changed one iota since they came into our existence. Do not let poor whites or a white with an act of kindness or a smiling face fool you. White history can bear witness that not some whites are racist, but all whites are racist. Welcome to Wrestling with Racism, where we wrestle with racism every single day of our lives. If you are an American Negro and you are not subscribed to Wrestling with Racism, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they are wrestling fans or not. You may also find Wrestling with Racism on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Spotify, Rumble, and at Non-Crackers at Al on Twitter X, where you can find more white truths. I'm joined here by my co-host, Deportation 2025. What's up?
Getting ready to knock out these dishes.
Okay, all right. And the dishes, make sure you get up under the plate and stuff now. Get the bottom of that cup.
also joined here by my co-host, the owner of a stolen gun. What's up?
You know, I'm just taking it easy. You know, it's been a rough couple weeks. You know, it was an anniversary of Chris Benoit's death a couple weeks ago, and I'm still reeling from that.
Man. Chris Benoit. You know, today is a day to celebrate. Today is a day to celebrate. Well, this is low-key the best day to celebrate in the world. July 25th, as it is my birthday. Getting a little bit older, getting a little bit wiser. And I do have to say that I'm a blessed man. Blessed for my family. I'm blessed for my friends. I'm blessed for my job. I'm blessed with the worldly possessions that I have. And I am blessed to have the strength to come up here and wrestle with racism for freedom, justice, and equality for all American Negroes, not just in professional wrestling, not just in America, but the world. Today is also another day to celebrate, which is why this is going to be short, by the way, so I could continue my celebration with my family. Today is another day to celebrate for us here at Wrestling with Racism, as Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, has to some tragically passed away. To us, it was long overdue. Mike, it's been over 24 hours right now. How do you feel about the passing of Hulk Hogan?
If I were a smoker, I'm smoking on that pack.
Does this make you want to smoke on the pack right now?
Tempted.
Does my birthday help you with your decision to smoke on the pack right now?
Still not smoking, because I'm going to do a drug test the next day, so...
Well, we don't want to say where you work, but I understand. With that being said, like, how did you feel when you initially got the news?
I had a smile on my face.
It really hit you, didn't it?
Yep.
It was surreal, wasn't it?
Yeah. People can talk about, oh, if it wasn't for Hogan, wrestling, yeah. Hogan, he helped make wrestling popular in the 80s. We are not going to deny that. And he's had some solid matches here and there. But none of that shit overrides the fact that he's a white supremacist. The biggest white supremacist in wrestling. Well,
now,
at least one of them.
You said two important things. We are going to talk about Hulk Hogan being a white, benefiting from a system of white supremacy. I don't call regular citizens white supremacists, but we're going to talk about why Hulk Hogan is actually a white supremacist. And also, we are also going to discuss how Hulk Hogan became the man in the 80s specifically to the point in which he did. We're going to get detailed on that because I think it's something that a lot of people are overlooking. The company, what's up? Welcome to Wrestling with Racism. You're more than welcome to join in on the conversation. We're really just getting started, but welcome. You're more than welcome. Owner, what's up?
Hulk Hogan died?
Dead man. Dead.
Man, he died yesterday, man. Now listen, don't start with your tears now.
I don't give a fuck about that smacked ass honky.
I mean, if you give a fuck, because I don't like to see American Negroes hurt. So if you need somebody to comfort you, you take that shit to your mama. Don't come up here with no fucking talking about no damn sympathetic shit for Hulk Hogan now.
I'm about to go get on Showdown Legends and start whooping on his ass with Tony Atlas and Coco Beware.
Man, what? Speaking of Tony Atlas, y'all check this clip out.
Hulk Hogan is not only a racist bitch, but Hulk Hogan is a dead bitch.
Anything that you can do, I can do better. I tell you what, boy, anytime you want to pose down, anytime you want to get on the stage with me or get in that ring, boy, I'm ready for you because all you can do is shine my shoes, boy. You let me tell you one thing. My mama didn't raise no boy. You understand? She raised a 6'2", 250-pound man that will whoop your back, boy. You understand? Anytime you want some of me, get your butt in the way. Let's get going. I am the real Mr. USA. I'm the real Mr. Universe. The only reason I didn't win that contest was because I was around the world kicking people's butts. Well, look into my eyes, soul man. Look into my eyes because I'm coming out after you. You ain't nothing but a souped up spider monkey, boy. I can do anything better than you. And let me tell you something. When you step in that ring on my home ground, the place that I've owned since January 1st, 1980, Madison Square Garden, you're stepping into a lion's den. And when I snap your skinny little neck, you're gonna know who's your maker. I'm the real Mr. USA, and I'm gonna make you say Uncle Tom in front of everybody, boy.
Yeah, he called that motherfucker a spider monkey and a boy. But we're going to talk about Hulk Hogan racism in a second. How did you feel when you initially heard the news?
I mean, it's kind of disbelief. I mean, my first impression of the Hulkster is he's the immortal. But I guess that's not...
Oh, man. Speaking of Hulk Hogan being a fucking liar, right? This motherfucker told me Hulkamania will live forever.
The motherfucker lied and said he wasn't on his deathbed.
No, it's the people that was around him that lied and said he wasn't on his deathbed. He was too busy dying. Big dead ass motherfucker. I can't stand that bitch, and I'm glad that he gone. I tell you, this is not the best birthday present that I received this year, but I tell you what, it's the third. So far, let's see what else happening. I got a long weekend ahead. So that's why we're going to go ahead on and get started real quick. First of all, before we get started, I want to let everybody know that, first of all, I want to thank each and every single American Negro that tuned into the latest editions of Wrestling with Racism. Thank you all for tuning in. We have throughout a couple of throwbacks featuring the deadly sin of Bobby Lashley. When Bobby Lashley went out and told the world that his main goal was to erase blackness. I have a 2-part series up, and on the second part, which I released yesterday, is a very special tribute to our American Negro brother, Malcolm Jamal Warner. The following program is truly dedicated to our American Negro brother, Malcolm Jamal Warner. We honor you and thank you for the everlasting memories and impact that you had on all American Negro lives. Anytime you graced our presence, you will be missed dearly. Most importantly, and no one should be able to deny this, Malcolm Jamal Warner is a real American. Malcolm Jamal Warner was the embodiment of what a true American is supposed to be on paper, right? It is a paper that white folk wrote. But I don't see white folk addressing Malcolm Jamal Warner as a real American. They're addressing him as a good boy, a polite, kind Negro. Some Negro that every other Negro should be. We like the nigger. But they are heavily supporting Hulk Hogan as if he is some type of god, knowing that he hates American Negroes, and white folk don't even care for the fact that he hates his own family. White America is a hypocritical America. Hulk Hogan is the ugly side of white America, the dying breed of white America. It's a declining group. To a real American, Malcolm Jamal Warner, we here at Wrestling with Racism bid you farewell. We love you and we thank you. Rest well as we continue to wrestle with racism.
It's just one thing that I
man who all American Negroes should aspire to be, the type. But there are many American Negroes in the world, like with the character of Malcolm Jamal Warner, and we intend to continue to multiply that positivity around this world. This is our first time talking since Malcolm Jamal Warner passing. Taken away from Hulk Hogan, bitch ass, real quick. Mike, how do you feel about our American Negro brother passing? Tragic passing.
It was a damn shame, man. I was sad. I was shocked. I didn't think that would happen.
Just didn't see it happening.
Yeah,
I saw Hulk Hogan dying before I saw Malcolm. Never would even think something. You just don't think of nothing like that. Honestly, when it comes down to people.
Let's keep in mind, Malcolm didn't die of natural causes, and they're saying it's an accident, which I find highly dubious.
Accidental drowning. That something about that don't sit right with me.
I don't want to speculate right now. I got my own reservations about that. This is not the time for us to talk about that right now, but we will discuss that on the future edition. But let's just keep it strict. How do y'all feel about the brother? What impact did he have on you coming up? Mike, you came after Nick at Night. Damn, where the hell did you watch your TV One?
I was watching Cosby Show before when they were called TV Land, and then I was watching back when it was called TV Land.
Yeah.
Before they changed their name to TV One. Because TV Land, I used to watch plenty of that. Sometimes I would watch westerns like Bonanza, Gunsmoke with my mom.
Daddy watched that shit. You into that?
Not really.
I used to hate when this motherfucker used to take over the TV watching that shit, boy. But I do.
Mike used to watch
Now that I'm older, I do want to go back and watch some John Wayne and shit and see what that shit was about. You know, but as a 5-year-old, I'm like, man, I'm the one to finish watching Rugrats, motherfucker. What the fuck you doing? Oh, because it just seemed like a bunch of, in between the shooting, it just seemed like a bunch of white people talking. It was in black and white, and you could still tell they white. Really quick.
Yeah, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Like, a lot of FBA kids can relate to him with the character of Theo Huxtable.
Well, I want to say this. I was going back watching a lot of I've been watching The Cosby Show all my life, but I took special attention to, The Cosby Show. I haven't sat down and watched, episodes in a minute. Man, that was just a naturally funny show. They didn't go over the top. Nothing.
Sitcom.
Greatest
family sitcom of all time.
Well, I'm just talking about from the acting standpoint. Just everything just fit into place, and there was nobody that was over the top. Bill was just so funny with how he just came at it, and everybody had their unique place, and they stayed in it, and it worked. Everybody worked together. It just worked, and it was just funny as shit. You talking about wholesome comedy? The Cosby Show is the funniest wholesome comedy show that's out there. Over Family Matters, over Fresh Prince.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
Nobody had to buck their eyes and roll their neck.
They didn't have to buck their eyes and roll their neck, not for a second. And they didn't even, bring up racial issues. They didn't bring up racial issues, but they was always in the situations. And the way that they handled it, first of all, Cliff and Claire handled it like true parents. They handled their relationship issues like a true couple supposed to handle their relationship issues. Especially when you marry, especially when you marry with children, especially when you marry with children from a toddler on up to a college kid. You know what I'm saying? And they balanced that well. I have to give Dr. Bill Cosby that credit. And he took care of them afterwards, long afterwards. He made sure they was well educated, and he made sure, most importantly, these kids don't have to suffer with low paychecks. Their residual checks is on par with a lot of white kids. Them kids suffer home improvement and all that shit. You know why they ain't gotta work? Because they live off of that shit for a lifetime. No motherfuckers in Seinfeld, they getting paid equally, they being paid fairly. Bill Cosby made sure that happened. Yep. I also want to note that, and I hate that I didn't put this in the last video, but people would always think that Bill Cosby was a father figure to Malcolm Jamal Warner. But Malcolm Jamal Warner made it very clear that Bill Cosby changed his life for the better, and he hold Bill Cosby in high regards. But his father figure is his father, who's here today, you know. So it's unfortunate that his parents do have to bury their child, but they did a phenomenal job beyond what people think Bill Cosby did on raising a phenomenal young man.
Hell yeah.
You can't find nothing negative on him. You can't even find nothing falsely negative about him. And how he was able to skirt through 40 years in the trash ass business without a single negative note on his name is amazing. But I do want to bring up this point. You know, he's been New York based, and he never really stepped into Hollywood. He never really did movies. He always really did TV shows. How much of a factor do you believe of him not stepping into Hollywood kept his name clean?
I'd say it's a big role. The unfortunate thing I also want to point out is that you got these white supremacists and coons out here that want to use his death to take shots at Bill Cosby. Fuck those people.
You know, it's funny, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Mike, because just to go back to Hulk Hogan real quick, you know, everybody is talking about how American Negroes are reacting to Hulk Hogan's death, which is justified. Because he is, you know, like I said, he's a man that a lot of us looked up to and honored and respected as his character, a real American. Just to grow up and find out that he view you as a nigger. He view your children as a nigger. You know, he view you as the lowest form of how a white man view a black man or a black woman.
And you can actually apologize that away? You can just sorry that away?
Well, we're going to talk about that in a second. I just want to say how people sit up here and condemn us to our reactions to his death. But white folks...
These are the same people that you
white
George
folks took
Floyd
the most
means.
innocent man in entertainment and took his death to bring another man down. They should be condemned the same way. As a matter of fact, they should be condemned even worse, because Hulk Hogan would never have the character that Malcolm Jamal Warner had. And Hulk Hogan has been through at least 500 Make-A-Wishes as a job. He never could be labeled in the same category on the characterization level as Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Damn right.
And that stain of racism isn't even the worst of Hulk Hogan, and we're going to talk about that later on. Honor, my bad. What was you saying?
Everybody's saying, oh, he apologized for that. You know, Booker T said it's cool. You know, I mean, could Hitler just, you know, I'm sorry, I love the Jews. You go to a synagogue and that makes it okay? So Hulk Hogan went to
I'm trying to see, you know, I've had to apologize for things that I have not been sorry for, in order to keep certain things running smoothly. It's not me being a fake person. I just know that going back and forth with certain things is just not the way to go in certain situations when I may have a go. You know what I'm saying? Or when I have to bite the bullet in the name of the hustle. You know what I'm saying? Apologies don't mean shit, because what have you done to repair that? Hulk Hogan is a man with major influence. What has he given to American Negroes to actually show you repenting? You know, you worked with Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil, how can I help you build yourself to become better in this business so that you could get these areas? What has Hulk Hogan ever done to truly atone for something that he got caught with? And we're going to talk about this because I was talking to some raccoons earlier today. And they was talking about, well, Hulk Hogan never called you the nigger to your face. You know, I always say, since I started this program, do a white man have to call you nigger to your face in order for you to be racist? While you waiting around waiting on that shit, the damage has already been done.
That's amazing. It's one of the biggest highlights in the program.
Yep.
and people actually use it. People actually believe it.
Yeah, well, they believe that.
Plenty of wrestlers, Cooney.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because they always got that one Negro that they look toward. You know, anytime something go down, you get a room of people that just look this way. And everybody looking for Booker T to see what he got to say. Now, we're going to talk about to see what people got to say. Booker T was the only comment that I did not look for. Did anybody see if Booker T spoke on the death of Hulk Hogan?
Let me check real quick.
While you checking that, I want to note that the Street Profits, Bianca Belair, R-Truth.
I didn't really see a lot of superstars come out and say much anything.
Well, I wasn't checking for the whites. But the American Negroes, I know, didn't say anything.
Nothing from Booker T yet.
Okay, so now the question is, do y'all believe that they are not saying anything, whether they want to positively or not? Do y'all believe that they are not saying anything at the discretion of the WWE?
I don't think it's that.
It is funny that like it's kind of uniform. You see, none of the.
Well, man, you got to think that it happened 24 hours ago. Do you think that they got on the line with each other just that quick?
I mean, a memo touched down like I had to touch down immediately.
I mean, between them. Do you believe that it was either a pact between them or if it was a pact with the company?
That's a good question.
Like I said, with it happening so quickly, that means that black people literally jumped on code and decided whether they're going to speak or not, because it's no coincidence that not one, besides Byron Saxton, who, by the way, is a Hispanic. I forgot what type of Hispanic. Even two different Hispanics in one that make up some type of dark skin that look like us, but he's a Hispanic. Let's say that, by the way. He gave some type of, tribute or whatever. But other than that, I didn't see nobody else do it. How did they come together so quickly if it wasn't company-based? You got to know that SmackDown is tonight, so more than likely everybody was getting their travel ready, if not traveling.
Have they said anything on the show?
Excuse me?
Have they said anything on the show?
No, I don't. I'm watching it. I'm not really paying attention to it, but I haven't seen anybody say anything, I don't think.
I found Leo Rush buck dancing for Hulk Hogan.
Okay, so Leo Rush was buck dancing, and Elijah Pope was buck dancing too. I got on his ass. Leo Rush, you really good. You got to be careful who you advocate for too, because Leo Rush, going back to the Big Swole situation, was the only American Negro wrestler to stand up and say something about the Big Swole situation. Say something to Tony Khan. And as a matter of fact, he was fired as a result of that. You can still let his contract run out all you want to, whatever. The motherfucker was fired. And I, of course, stood heavily for him. But of course, he chose to go back and been cooning it up ever since. You know what I'm saying? And I thought he'd be more down. Don't he got an American Negro woman?
I don't know what his relationship is.
Yeah, I know, Barry, you probably gonna be pissed off, but Jade is getting better. I ain't seen a single flaw, and she just beat the shit out that white bitch. She really starting to step into her role. Dewdrop, you ain't fooling me, you big bitch, with all that black on. Triple H ain't slick. I know why he put all that black on. This bitch ain't on no Ozempic. That's all that fucking black she got on. Now here come this racist bitch, Tiffany Stratton. I thought she died. I'm pretty sure that Hulk Hogan was one of her major influences. Owner, was you up here when we did the edition, cause of death of Tiffany Stratton was revealed to be her tongue? Were you up here for that?
I'm not sure. Might have missed that one.
Okay, so what's your opinion on Tiffany Stratton calling an American Negro man boy?
Oh, was this was recently?
This was, about a month ago.
So she's
less
had
than a month
another
ago.
incident since calling a black woman a black bitch?
The black woman that she's standing in the ring with right now, that she's facing that SummerSlam, the Jamaican one.
Beyond reproach. She's just off the leash. Out of control.
So with that being said, let's talk about accountability. And that's where we go back to Hulk Hogan right quick. Hulk Hogan was never, ever, 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 ever held accountable for anything that he has done. And Hulk Hogan has been trashy to people in this business. Hulk Hogan has been trashy to white folk in this business. He fucked Macho Man Randy Savage's wife, Miss Elizabeth, caused them to get divorced. He threw the thing about Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan never had
stopped the union from happening.
Hulk Hogan never had to do this, but Hulk Hogan took it upon himself to personally throw people up under the bus. I'm going to say something about that Hulk Hogan union stuff. Yeah, Hogan may have domed them out, but that's no excuse for nobody unionizing after that. Even if it took another 5 years or another 10 years to this day. And I believe that even if Hogan didn't, say something, Vince was going to fire them motherfuckers anyway. Vince had the upper hand. There was no way they was going to be able to unionize in the 1980s. That wasn't about to happen. Because it was the beginning and those people were easily replaceable. You got to remember, in the 80s, all of these big stars that Vince made stars, they was just some regular-ass people in them little small-ass towns. Regular-ass people. He turned them into stars, and he could have easily sent them backpacking. Gary Von Erich could have been Hulk Hogan. You realize that?
I've been thinking about this all day. I mean, considering wrestling is a presentation, it's all about how you present your character. So if you had put Macho Man in Hogan's spot and had him lift Andre over his head at WrestleMania, that would be Macho Mania all through the 80s and 90s.
I put up on TikTok, and I want everybody to take a look.
Fucking that thing.
I'll put this up on TikTok, and I want y'all to take a look at this real quick.
Oh, did you see that? He blocked and countered. He really did. Right out of the Joe Frazier boxing book. This may be it. But not yet. Oh, wow. Body slam, maybe. Well, Angelo got hit again. Yeah, he got hit. He's down. I think that's it. That's it. They're going to control the match. He came out this side of the ring. And now Hogan's trying to get Bollea. Angelo, he wants him to count. You thought he was concerned about his welfare, huh? Yeah. Well, here he comes. Got him. Got him as well. Got him. Hogan does not believe what happened to him.
Tony Atlas was stronger than Hulk Hogan. He was bigger than Hulk Hogan. He was in greater shape than Hulk Hogan. And he was over. If y'all pay attention to that clip, Tony Atlas was the face. And he was tossing, he picked Hulk Hogan up over his head. Remember, Hulk Hogan was 325 pounds, 6'7", 325 pounds. That was his build weight, but he was at least 300 pounds. Just tossed him around like a fucking rag doll. Why couldn't Tony Atlas become the real American? Why couldn't Tony Atlas become Hulk Hogan?
The answer to that. And by the way, what's up? It's Duke here. How y'all doing?
Welcome, Duke CT from the Duke CT Lounge.
Well, I'm going to say this about all that's happening right now is that this man and, the racism, and never apologized for it. But remember last year, he was out there, hoeing for Trump. He was out there, this, that, and the other, and the third. And now you look at right now what's going on. Trump, now trying to hide out all of his dealings with Jeffrey Epstein, stuff that was already known about.
The stuff that was already known about.
Yeah, he beat me too.
Yeah.
I was about to say, Hulk was about to come out with the list. That's why he took him out.
Yeah, but you know what?
No, to be honest with you, I think his wife took him out. She got tired of his old ass rolling on her doing his business.
And not just that, I think he just, I think honestly, they worked his ass to death because that's what he has. Because all he has is just him doing all that, like, those drugs or whatever he's probably doing.
But they say that Hulk Hogan was worth $30 million. Why did he feel like he needed to work like that at the age of 7?
Yeah, he didn't have all that. That's like paper money. I guarantee you, if you look into those banknotes and those W-2s, it's going to tell a very different story in a couple of years' time.
I got to tell y'all, and we're going to hold off a little bit on the family aspect of Hulk Hogan. We're going to talk about the dirt of Hulk Hogan in a second. But I do want to say his wife Linda Hogan did take his ass. She took his ass for 70% in 2009. How did Hulk Hogan rebound? We're going to talk about how Hulk Hogan rebounded, but I do want to note that Linda Hogan did take him at least 70% of his wealth at the time.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And
he didn't have to pay alimony, and she did get a part of that lawsuit money, too. After they divorced, she still got a part of that lawsuit money, but she took him.
Yeah, and I think the reason why he got revived and everything, he pretty much he took most of that life force from TNA with him and Eric Bischoff destroying that company. I mean, come on now, what idiot?
He wasn't making no money. He wasn't making no money there.
Oh no, Dixie Carter paid him a lot. They paid them a lot of money, giving stupid ideas.
Say they got Hulk Hogan accolades up here. He's a 6-time WWE Tag Team Champion. He's a 6-time WCW World Champion, and then it said 2-time something at the bottom. I missed it. It might have been a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. He's a man that never had to win an Intercontinental title. He's a man that never had to win the Tag Team title. He's always been
the World Wrestling
Federation champion.
He won the tag championships. He won it with that actually.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
the WWE at that point.
But yeah, transitional period. WCW trying to balance that and rebounding from Stone Cold and The Rock and stuff.
Oh yeah, and then he got old. Then he got like, I can book like Vince McMahon or whatever. Went to TNA with Eric Bischoff. Gave them horrible ideas, like for example, getting rid of their 6-sided ring, their identity, and then put them on Monday nights because that was going to be a great idea. And they got their ass kicked so badly they had to go running back to Thursday nights. Well, and here's the crazy thing: Thursday night replays.
It was like a month or two, right?
Yeah, at least for the NXT and AEW thing, that went on for at least a year.
I mean, Sean, really quickly, off topic real quick. Do y'all believe that if AEW were to do it next year, if they would start going Monday nights, do you think they could compete with the WWE?
No, that's stupid. No,
it is WWE being as trash as it is, and with Triple H still being alive, and we're going to talk about his impending death too. It's necessary because he got hurt issues too. He's not going to make it to 71. Hold on, Go ahead, Duke.
I think.
No. I was going to say this thing here that that is a pretty dumb idea because, quite honestly, WWE has the mindset it's locked in. Fans are like, if WWE's number one, doesn't matter who else is. Even if David was perfect, WWE is still the number one brand. For like how many years WWE has been the number one brand after WCW fell?
I think since after All In, that was kind of that All In was kind of a turning point. All In.
There wasn't really a turning point because I haven't kept up with AEW,
which was awful up against a marginally better show. I wouldn't say All In was a perfect show, but it was more entertaining than Saturday Night.
Oh yeah. Y'all forgot about the NXT Great American Bash, which
I personally believe that NXT Great American Bash was better than All In. That was a very fluid show.
But that's the problem. Most people are talking about that. No one is talking about NXT at that point. They're hurting their own roster by putting all these shows up, and they wonder why people are like, okay,
WWE fucking up. They really fucking up. They holding goddamn a pay-per-view every 2 weeks now.
It's getting to the point of the bad old days of like, okay, you're gonna have to buy this show and that show, like 15 and 16, that sort of pay-per-view. And by the way, remember the whole AAA deal that WWE just put up? They bought it at WrestleMania. One of the tag teams, Los Gazera, are the AAA tag belts, but they're not even talking about that. They're just like, whatever.
Well, what's going on with the tag team women's title? Because they seen that they had a tag team championship match the other day. But where the fuck have that title been?
It's in the ether. No one cares about it. And
ever since Bianca and Naomi dropped it for no reason. Because I think that they should have did the thing. I think it would have been a little bit more interesting if they had to reveal Naomi to be the attacker with them holding the titles. Well, because honestly, how do you break away from Bianca Belair at that point when y'all got championships?
It would be very interesting, but the problem is that most people don't really care about the tag team titles, and I think that's eventually, going to see them getting more pushed down the card. In fact, the Speed titles, remember WWE Speed? It looks like it's basically dead. It's been off for 2 or 3 weeks, and nobody cares about it.
Well, I never gave a shit. Oh, real quick, New Day and the Street Profits lost the tag team titles. The only reason that I believe they lost the tag team titles was to make way for Naomi to hold the women's title. As a matter of fact, I think this is our first time talking since Naomi won the championship. We've been on a hiatus for a couple of weeks, and we're only doing this program because Hulk Hogan fucking finally died. How do you all feel, Mike, about Naomi holding the women's championship? And what do you think the aftermath is going to be?
Happy to see Naomi hold the women's championship, but I don't think she's going to hold it that long.
Unfortunately, it seemed like she may lose it at SummerSlam, right?
Yep.
In the opening match.
She's the best worker in the bloodline right now. Hands down.
Why do y'all keep saying this woman is in the bloodline?
Is she married?
Well,
she's not married into nothing. I don't like saying that. And I don't like the fact they married. I asked Rikishi yesterday because he gave a little tribute to Hulk Hogan. And Rikishi, in his promo where he ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin, his quick 5 minutes of fame in that light, which he really wasn't. The Rock used to beat his ass every week. And if The Rock wasn't beating his ass every week, Stone Cold was beating his ass every week. And then they moved on to The Undertaker. But I'm not going to go there right now.
I did it for The Rock.
You talked about in that I Did It for The Rock promo about the Great White Hype. This was a racial storyline. At least the initial thing was. Because he talked about white men like Bruno Sammartino and Billy Graham and Bob Backlund and Hulk Hogan and Stone that led all the way up to Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's why he took them out, because you wanted to do something for the Samoans. And the Samoan that you were doing this for was The Rock, right? So you talk about the great how the Samoans never got a shot, and he named Tonga Kid, and he named Haku, and he named the other people, all the other fucking Samoans, all them Peter Maivia and shit. You named all these people, which, by the way, Peter Maivia is not The Rock's biological grandfather. Leah Maivia, The Rock's grandmother, biological grandmother, was a hoe running around Hawaii before before her would-be husband came and turned the hoe into a housewife. So The Rock is not a part of that family at all by blood. All right, but that's the family that he chose to represent. That's the family that he chose to look out for. He's a very proud Samoan.
We haven't seen him reach out to anybody from Rocky Johnson family, try to get them a job in WWE.
It ain't even about getting them a job. Hey, you like to show you going out hanging with these people? Why don't you go, hey, let me get this my brother right here?
The cosplayers, baby. It's nice. The Samoans are the cosplayer blacks. Let's just be.
Well, I want to say this real quick. With all that being noted, before Naomi won the WWE Championship, and this is why I believe that she personally won the women's title, that night of WWE Evolution, and y'all can take a look at this video right here.
Question marks block your blessings.
No. What a Naomi shirt at? What a Naomi merch? Where that? Where that? Where that? I was asking the same question. Please go. That was like,
I need white folk to leave because this isn't for you. American Negroes, this is sadder than we can ever imagine. This is the state that WWE is in as the women prepare for a WWE evolution. American Negroes are still trying to evolve in this business. You know, white folk label us as very colorful people. We're quite entertaining. As a matter of fact, we've become the most entertaining, the most charismatic, the most athletic, the most intriguing people in the world. The world is attracted to American Negroes. American Negroes specifically. We have the greatest gift in the world. Yet, America choose to keep American Negroes at the bottom. Naomi put so much into her gimmick, herself, this year alone. And this is the stand that she must take on the night that they tell us that women have evolved. Racism is the #1 issue in professional wrestling. For those that want to say that it isn't racism, isn't looking at the economical standpoint. As you can see, she went out, and that was a protest. Her merchandise wasn't out there in the lobby where they sell the merchandise at the arenas. And she, went out there asking where her merchandise was, and she got a big chant going, "Where's her shirt? Where's her shirt?" And then, she walked off. Obviously, later on that night, she won the WWE Women's Championship. The thing about Naomi is Naomi has already walked out of the WWE when she felt like something wasn't right. They never explained why they walked out. Is there any confirmation on why her and Mercedes walked out besides the bullshit that they gave?
They pretty much were tired of it. That's what it is. They just dropped the belts on the Pritchard's desk and said this is BS. They're not going to do anything with them, and they just bounced.
And by the way, Jimmy Uso is a bitch because his wife walked out of the WWE for a cause, and you stood your faggot ass right there. Because I guarantee you, if you had walked out of the WWE, she would have been right there by your side. You's a bitch. Well, so my thing is this. I asked Rikishi if your daughter, because this is supposed to be his daughter-in-law, she called you her father. If your daughter-in-law is out there in 2025 and still have to protest, and I believe that they gave her the title because she was willing to walk that night. She said, look, they came back. She came back. What the fuck is you doing? Look,
Y'all don't have my merchandise out here. Now y'all fucking with my money. You know what I'm saying? She is the top heel in the business. Not even just the female. She's the top heel in the business today. And she's very creative on her own accord. Y'all got to remember the WWE is not putting no effort behind Naomi. It's Naomi that's putting the effort behind her.
She comes up with all her lines, all her outfits, everything.
Everything. And so you would know that with all the razor stuff that she got, that all that stuff would sell. Why are y'all not putting her stuff out there? Her stuff would sell more than anybody's, and maybe that's perhaps what they're afraid of.
Yeah, they don't want that because, well, again,
I think she
black folk don't own anything.
That Monday night they came back. She had one of the best performances in last 10 years.
But yeah, that's the problem. Is that, like I keep saying, black folk don't own the entire thing. I mean, Dr. Carl Anderson talked about this for years because Dr. Carl Anderson told about ownership many, many years ago and all this type of stuff. But yet, I think a lot of the Negroes took this is not going to be fine. It's all good. And now they're realizing, oh crap, we should have got this stuff ready. And there's been some who have them, but we haven't really supported them. We haven't supported the people who were trying to get us ready, and now we're just trying to rush and realize that.
Now, I do want to say, although we don't have any real ownership in pro wrestling, it does shine a spotlight that white supremacists is still willing to not give any American Negro any prime position in the WWE, or as far as on the creative team, on the production team, anywhere in the executive roles, anywhere in the training roles or the scouting roles. So, although we don't have an institution for ourselves, we do have to recognize that white supremacists is still not ready to properly integrate us into their institutions. They can only use us as pawns. Pawns. Case in point, R-Truth was racially fired from the WWE about a month and a half ago. After heavy protests, mind you, this is the second time I had to say American Negro protest. Naomi hit a peaceful protest before she won the WWE Women's Championship because I believed that she was going to walk, and the people hit a major protest for R-Truth, and they brought R-Truth back within 2 weeks, and it seems even worse that they brought him back because I'm not for you giving on no fucking charity here, nigga. Come on back on the plantation. They didn't even think to bring him in the house. R-Truth could have been a commentator. He could have been a producer. R-Truth got more love from the locker room on Twitter than Hulk Hogan did.
Yep.
So why wouldn't they want him to be a producer? Mind you, the producer is the buffer between the creative writer and the wrestler. He helps construct what the creative writers want to give out to the wrestlers.
Because in Hunter's WWE, there's no place for him.
You don't see color.
But you brought him back on the plantation.
It was Nick Khan.
You brought him back onto the...
It was Nick Khan who brought him back.
There's no telling who really brought him, but the WWE brought him back onto the plantation. You give him a new gimmick and you drop it within 2 weeks.
Because
the question is, how in the hell is R-Truth gonna make his second exit?
Yeah, he'll work and produce in TNA when they buy it. But you know what? It's not. It's that's what it is. Because again, Hunter did not want him there, and now Nick Khan brought him back because he was gonna make his money in the Indies. He was gonna make his money in the Indies, by the way.
I would have hoped that he would have sat down and took his retirement. I wouldn't want to see him at 55 years old going out busting his ass like Sabu had to do.
No, he still got his money. He might just do like dates or something. Like, I don't want him just be like, I'm just sit there and not do anything for the rest of his life or something. I'm like, if he wants to do something, he's like on his time. He has his money, he's good, but he just does it for the love of the game. But now he's there in WWE. He's been honestly, I would just have him beat John Cena for the WWE Championship. Have a transition with Zayn for
way beyond that shit. Nah.
Yeah, but now he's buried.
I mean, because they had fucking 3 pay-per-views ever since they fired. They had 3 or 4. They had at least 6 pay-per-views since they fired him in the last month, right?
Oh yeah, they had multiple pay-per-views or PLEs or whatever.
John Cena could have got the shit back. But I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit. You know, like I said, sometimes the pandering can be worse than the act itself. And as it's showing this ugly head today, the pandering could be worse than the act itself because we have to see our truth go through a second release. So
He has to go through more humiliation, more, this stuff. And this
you
again,
gotta know that it's time for the New Day. You got to know that it's time for Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. They gonna suffer the same fate. It's just a matter of when. What do you do with the New Day after this? They didn't put no effort behind them for the 50-something days that they held WWE Tag Team titles. So you know that they're not gonna put no effort behind them. Now, how do you get rid of the New Day? Which, by the way, are both 20-plus year vets and are more qualified to do all of the positions that are named, including Xavier Woods on the executive level, seeing as he had a master's degree. He was getting his fucking degree as he was wrestling for the WWE. He's more than qualified to do a lot of stuff. How and when do these guys make their exit?
it's just that they'll just leave with no type of love and they'll go away. And that's the problem, is that they have done nothing. That one
Not to
big
mention
moment.
they still able-bodied men. They still in greater shape than most of the people on the roster, right?
But that's the problem. They don't do anything with these people. And here's the worst part. What happened to those tag team titles, by the way? Guess what it went back to? Back to the same bland,
Back to
dumbass
the
Judgment
same
Day.
bland-ass people. And guess what's about to happen? They gonna end up on PLEs. Watch what I tell you.
They're spending their final days in catering.
And JD Madonna ain't never been shit a day in this motherfucking life. Since the day he was born, his mama looked at him and said, "You ain't never been shit."
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say this. It's just like this company just does not care. And then, by the way, it is on a hold on nothing but late 30s and 40-year-olds, by the way, in the main event. Damian Priest and Aleister Black, both guys are beyond, they're in their late 30s or early 40s. Where is the young people? Where are the young guys?
Well, you got Carmelo Hayes out there overperforming. I gotta say this. Carmelo Hayes is overperforming at this point. And I just found out last week that last week was his first singles match in months. And they claim because The Miz, he been with The Miz, and The Miz been going off of TV for about a month, and now The Miz just showed up on TV. What is the correlation with The Miz and the Carmelo Hayes? What is that about any fucking way? Because I always look
I don't know,
at the slave master and the slave.
That's what I'd like to know.
And because he needed backup for the what is it? The backup for the what family? That whole Wyatt family 6 or whatever.
Wyatt 6.
And by the way, they're going to end up on pay-per-views. For what reason did they have for the Wyatt 6 winning the tag team championship? White folk was talking about how trash they were. So what's the reason for them holding the tag team title?
I don't know, man. They just. But now, meanwhile, the Street
with Charlotte Flair. What the fuck is that about?
They don't have women tag teams, so they're just it's the ramified thing. YouTube, do something. That's what it is.
Wasn't Montez on Van Fleet this week asking, what don't they have yet? And I'm
sorry, Montez Ford did an interview with Van Fleet.
I think he was on Van Fleet.
Okay, so I need to see that, and obviously, this is something that you should be interested in. Did you have any highlights of the interview?
I just, I'm paraphrasing. He was asking Van Fleet. He was just going on about how much work he's put in and how he doesn't feel like it's really paying off. And he's saying, what is it? Why aren't they moving to the next level? We all know what it is. They're black.
He said that.
He didn't say it, but we know what it is.
Okay, so the thing that I'm just, that deter me away from wrestling with racism a lot. Like I said, I've been doing this for a while, and I get a lot of conversation started. And mixing shit up.
And we see things right in front of our very eyes getting worse and worse and worse. We literally seeing it happen. The more, and it's funny too because they can continue to throw out all these successes. Naomi's the money in the belt. She's the women's champion, and the Street Profits are the tag team, all this stuff. And it just seemed like, and TNA is
Name a memorable
Trick
feud
Williams
that
is the
they've had.
TNA
Yeah.
champion. You know what I'm saying? Just they Swerve Strickland is the AEW champion, and Powerhouse Hobbs is finally being seen on TV. And it's like the more stuff y'all throw out, the worse it sounds. But think about what I'm telling y'all and think about what's going on. Think about what I just said and think about what's going on. To y'all that's actually paying attention, don't that just sound bad?
Oh yeah, because at the end of the day, there's no, they don't own the stuff. They're being worked.
But listen to what I'm telling you because because we about to transition and talking about wrestling fans. Think about what I'm telling you. This is what these people are throwing at me. They're throwing out success, right? They're throwing out success, but the success that they're naming, don't that shit sound like it's unsuccessful to y'all when you see what's going on?
Oh, it means nothing. The success means nothing if you don't have the power behind the scenes. Which is, again, you can say about that for NFL.
What I'm telling you. Dude, I think you're missing what I'm telling you. I'm talking about from a wrestling fan's aspect. When a wrestling fan throw these accolades out at us to tell us that the WWE and AEW is progressing as a company when it comes down to American Negroes. These are the most American Negroes seen in wrestling history all at one time. When they throw all these bullshit accolades out to you, don't it seem like bullshit? That's the only point that I'm trying to bring up because we're talking about the fans. We're not talking about why it's like that. We're talking about the fans. I'm talking about stupid fans. I'm talking about the fans that sit up here and cry for Hulk Hogan. I want to say this. Let's not get it twisted. Wrestling with racism is fair across the board. I call a spade a spade. I will still sit up here and tell you that Triple H is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to advocate for his death. When I find out that you're a racist, when I find out that you're an anti-Negro white supremacist who is purposely holding American Negroes down, back, or down, then you gotta go. All that respect shit go out the window. Don't mean that I can't watch your matches and be thoroughly entertained still. But I don't have to respect you as a man, and I don't have to respect you as a human being. Y'all go to concerts, right?
Yeah.
Any concerts that you've been to, whether it's a hip-hop concert or R&B concert, anything regarding black, majority black, what's the crowd like? Ain't the majority white people?
Yeah, there's some lot of white folk there.
White folk will pay top dollar to see American Negroes. It's mainly white folk that's going out to this Beyonce concert. White folk, more white folk can afford it than American Negroes. You know, Michael Jackson even stopped touring in America, so it wasn't, you know, they made him untouchable to American Negroes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's very few people that has an American Negro audience at the concert. I'm talking about at the concerts. I went to a Jay-Z concert, all white. Luther Vandross didn't cross over, couldn't cross over. He was too fat, black, and ugly. Other than that, that's and Anita Baker. I don't think she got a white audience.
About
Other
like
than that,
Lil Boosie and Kodak.
white folk.
Yeah.
White. Hey, we love niggers because white folk are entertained by Negroes heavily.
From day one.
From day one. So, and that's how they make their judgments too. But they do look at a lot of people in a different light as a result. So they're going to look at Malcolm Jamal Warner as an upstanding nigger.
an uppity nigger, a sassy man, right? But you could have the same, and they're going to treat him as if they would treat the next time, right? But you could act the exact same way. You, as a regular citizen, and they don't respect you, and they're going to disrespect you to your face. So, and who was I talking to earlier about this? Oh, we did talk about that already. About them disrespecting Bill Cosby through Malcolm Jamal Warner, but they did, but they harp it down on us for what they call disrespect when it come down to Hulk Hogan, when we truly harbor in true feelings.
And these are the same people that were going around making George Floyd memes.
Oh my God, I seen this one George Floyd meme. I can't. You know what? I just seen that LeBron James is suing some people for deep fakes, and I hope that become a thing. I seriously hope that become a thing because that is some dangerous shit. I mean, did he really beat Cassie? You know what I'm saying? But that's some dangerous shit, and that's gonna be dangerous toward American Negroes. It truly is. But let's talk about these wrestling fans because I was on the space earlier with some black people. And you know what? These people not no hardcore wrestling fans, but they wanted to capitalize on what's his name, Def. And I talked to Tariq Nasheed last night too. Had a little conversation with him about Hulk Hogan, or really, broke down Hulk Hogan's career as best as I could in 5 minutes. But I was talking to some coons earlier, and I didn't realize they was coons. When Negro was up there, I thought it was just a regular little space. And I go in there, and then, the guy just really, really hyping Hulk Hogan up, which I understand. He gave all the Hulk Hogan best accolades, this, that, and the other. But then he started going to 10. I just don't see, because all he did was just say nigger, and we say that all day and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. But that wasn't the problem, because you're going to get one or two people like that, but it's just like everybody up there just did it. So I kind of stepped in, and I'm like, how in the hell y'all gonna sit up here and defend somebody that view you and your children and your parents and everything surrounding you as a nigger just because he entertained you? Triple H entertained me. His career is over. Now you could go. I don't want you controlling what I see on my TV. You can go. How do y'all feel about these coon ass wrestlers? Let's not even talk about the whites, because the whites gonna be the whites regardless. Comparing this shit to George Floyd and shit, the whites is gonna be the whites regardless. How do y'all feel about these coon ass people? It's okay to have an appreciation for somebody, but to kiss they ass. That's what I was saying about Donald Trump. It's okay for you to want him to be your president because you feel like he's going to do a better job. But what you do is you kiss his ass. And that's where we have a problem. How do y'all feel about these coon ass wrestling fans? That's condemning Negroes for expressing their feelings about a man that view them as a nigger.
Well, honestly, the reason why is because they have this they believe all the horrible things by the media and everything else. They don't believe that they believe black people are the lowest ring in the office. They're low. They don't deserve to be anything else, and they love to cosplay. They do all this type of stuff. They have this. I mean, that's the problem mentally. And spiritually, they're broken. That's the problem. They're mentally and spiritually broken. And you need to call that out. We have to call that out, because if we don't call that out, what happens is that it grows and grows in these social media platforms.
Like what's happening with Tiffany Stratton, right?
Yep. She's getting more burdened by the minute.
I want to remind, we living in a different age now. I want to remind everybody, had Hulk Hogan had to come out expressing his feelings against the American Negroes publicly, or if it had been caught privately, Hulk Hogan would not be Hulk Hogan today. They would have cut that shit. But now we living in the age now to where Tiffany Stratton can call black women black bitches, and Tiffany Stratton can call black men black boys. And no consequences. We literally watched 40 years of a white man be horrible to not just black people, but to white people. He fucked Miss Elizabeth.
And this man hasn't faced a single consequence about absolutely. He hasn't taken accountability or received any consequences for anything his entire life. And now
Because
we got the opportunity to watch that with women like Tiffany Stratton.
But this ain't new. I mean, this is not new. It is like, the women, and mostly white women, have been saying all this stuff to black women, and, always the feminist movement back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's the history.
Now, how much of the factor? Let's just go back to talking about these wrestling fans. Now, I do want to say that I personally, because I always ask people, "What's your ethnicity? What's your ethnicity?" I'm black. I'm black. They don't never want to get specific. They're never going to get specific on their ethnicity. So we looking at a chance of 50% of these people not being American Negroes, or at least mixed. Then we look. Okay, I'm not going to say 50%. The Street Profits is on with B-Fab. But when the fuck did they get it back with B-Fab? I'm not even about to turn the volume on and try to see. I don't care. B-Fab looked like somebody auntie. I swear to God, boy, she looked like somebody auntie. Some of them is not American Negroes. Some of them are others. Some of them are mixed. These people are not going to be specific. But then again, some of these people are actually coons. But I want y'all to know how much of a factor this is. I clipped this in because me and Negro had this little conversation. Wrestling is a safe space, and I think I talked about this with Tariq too. Wrestling is a safe space to escape from reality. And generally in wrestling is consisting of a lot of nerds who may be shunned from their family, who may feel, when they into that heavy, or they into anime heavy, or they into some things that may seem uncultured to American Negroes. And don't get it twisted. American Negroes are great wrestling fans, but then you got people that watch it all day, every day, and they just live life through it, and then they tend to get shunned. Mind you, they're getting shunned by their own people. You know what I'm saying? And so their safe zone is professional wrestling, to the point to where they could never wake up to the realities. They feel safer to Hulk Hogan, who made them believe. You got to understand, Hulk Hogan made people believe. Hulk Hogan made people of the shape of Adam Cole believe.
He made people... Yeah, that was the thing. That was one thing that Hogan...
He didn't take none of his advice. He didn't take his multi-supplements and vitamins.
I think they missed the plot. Hulk Hogan low-key damaged this business because he made people want to be this professional wrestler, but nobody want to do the fucking work. Eat your vitamins. Do your steroids.
But the problem is the steroid trial, though, which probably messed a lot of things up. And, most wrestlers
what ultimately killed it was Chris Benoit.
And by the way, those little guys took steroids, by the way.
Wrestlers are satanic Luciferians, so they ain't saying their prayers neither.
Yeah, Chris Benoit shit definitely killed it because they had to ultimately cut it off. They just put a Band-Aid over it for a couple of years in the WWF the first time, but after that, they was talking about senators coming after Vince McMahon. A lot of people don't remember that. Y'all go look that up.
Oh, yeah.
Senators. Yeah. So it was getting serious because they found a lot of steroids. Remember, they suspended everybody. Rey Mysterio, Edge, all them motherfuckers got suspended. And they came back small as shit. That's why I say Eddie Guerrero died, because he was using steroids. Look how big Eddie Guerrero is a naturally small man. But look how big he was in the last couple of years in WWF. He was fucking huge. His back and his chest was so goddamn big. Y'all got to look at Eddie Guerrero for real. He was huge.
Yeah, look at the stuff in WCW.
Picking up the steroids from the WWE headquarters.
Something like that, or the doctor was coming to him and meeting him at the arenas or something. Or give it to somebody and they pass it out. I don't know how the fuck they did what they did, but everybody came forward with their shit. Ultimate Warrior came forward with it. Roddy Piper came forward with it, and Hulk Hogan, racist bitch ass, had to go on
Arsenio Hall
and lie.
Like, we know. Right? The thing is, Hogan, why do you gotta be a liar? Why do y'all believe, and Hogan did not have to do this, but why do y'all believe that Hulk Hogan protected his spot to the extent that he protected it?
Greed, because hey, he wanted to stop that union stuff too. Because it went into court when I think Jesse Returns said all that type of stuff, and he's like, hey, well, who stopped the union stuff? Oh, it was Hogan who told me that. Straight up.
We talked about that, but I believe that even if Hogan didn't rat them out, I believe Vince wouldn't have let that happen anyway, because the wrestlers was not powerful then. They was just beginning. Hulk Hogan turned a bunch of nobodies into somebody. I mean, Vince McMahon turned a bunch of nobodies into somebodies, and
he had to step on a lot of toes.
That with anybody. Yeah, Hogan is a motherfucker. Let's get on Hulk Hogan, because we got about 25 minutes. I got to cut this at 10 o'clock. Let's get on Hulk Hogan family life right quick. I do want to say this to the coons real quick. You got to listen, it's okay to be a fan. I could go watch Hulk Hogan matches today and enjoy it. I can do that. Enjoy it like I just seen it for the first time. I can still get excited when he hulk up and all that stuff, but I still gotta call a spade a spade. The man was a racist bitch, and I'm glad that the man, Terry Bollea, is dead. Hulkamania did not live on for me forever. When I want to, I could go watch it, and after that, I could celebrate the fact that he's dead. He did his job as an entertainer. White folk are entertainment to me, okay? I like Remy Shank, all right? I like Tina Marie. White folk are entertainers to me, all right? But when they done, they can go. And Hulk Hogan is gone, and I'm glad that he's gone. And every American Negro that don't feel the same way, that are subscribed, unsubscribe, nigger.
I mean, what is it? What does it hurt to speak ill of the dead? I mean, they're dead. You can't do.
I spoke ill of the man when he was alive.
Motherfuckers.
What the fuck make that? One thing that wrestling with racism is authenticity. Wrestling with racism is the most authentic podcast that you're ever going to receive. We don't give a fuck about limitations. We get blocked off. We start it all over. So if I talked ill about the man when he was alive, what makes you think I'm bullshitting when I said I wanted him dead? Did you think I was bullshitting when I said that this is the third best birthday present that I received so far? And Triple H, Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, your asses is on the chopping block too. But let's talk about Hulk Hogan and his nastiness. You know, we talked about Malcolm Jamal Warner lived a great positive life in a business to where you could get so dirty. You know what I'm saying? But even if you tried, you can't even find nobody lying. You can't even find nobody lying on Malcolm Jamal Warner. But Hulk Hogan is just pure white filth.
Why was Hulk Hogan so preoccupied with his daughter pussy? What was it?
Let's wake it up. That's a perfect place to start.
He was just, that's the white supremacists. They believe in this whole pure blood stuff. That's what it is. They don't want to have no other blood messing up.
Further than that.
It went a little further. Remember Hogan Knows Best? And I don't know if they got this up or not. You know, I didn't have time to really watch shit. We were supposed to do this last night, but then some people came up and we turned the fuck up. We're going to turn the fuck up again tonight. But, by the way, it is my birthday. You know, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Doing this because the only reason I'm doing this is terrible time, and this just took away from my schedule a little bit, but we had to. You know, Hulk Hogan is the epitome of wrestling with racism. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that kept racism alive in this business. Hulk Hogan was filthy with his family. And he exploited his family for their filth. I think that show started after the accident, didn't it?
Well, no, it was before. It was before the accident. And by the way, I'm watching the SummerSlam card. Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn is on this, and yet they could have got Kamala Hayes or anyone else, man.
Well, white folk is heavily pushing for Karrion Kross to be somebody in this business.
He is nothing. He's that stupid person with that red freaking that terrible shredder thing. That's what he is.
Yeah. Well, let's get back on this because we still just got a few minutes real quick. Oh, by the way, I think we were supposed to speak on Naomi in the triple threat match. Do y'all have the feeling that she's going to lose?
Yeah, she's losing.
I got that feeling too, and it's just that hair nigga down, and it's crazy because the WWE had an opportunity, even if she did lose, they had an opportunity to have 5 melanated people hold championships, and even 6 if Jade win at one time, and the WWE chose to go the complete opposite way.
Because they own the house, they own everything. And by the way,
not only do they own everything, but they are white supremacists who don't want to see American Negroes progress their organization, which, by the way, is the only thing that I believe at this point could save their promotion. I mean, these whites is not cutting it. WWE is at its all-time trash for a while, right?
Oh, and by the way, breaking news and such, the WWE late night comedian for Tony Heathcliff canceled because the ticket sales were not looking good.
Well, who the fuck is he? And don't nobody give a shit. Some people just...
Oh, he was the guy who was with the Trump stuff, roasting everybody on that like a year ago while he was campaigning.
Yeah,
and then he did WrestleMania.
I know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, now that time is over. He had his little quick flash in the pan,
I never got and you was talking about the character of Hulk Hogan. And a lot of people, I don't understand how a lot of these black people are so willing to, overlook the racism. But okay, you overlook the racism, but the guy's a sexual deviant on top of that.
On top of that. And his wife expressed that. Take a look at this clip real quick.
I have to be honest about what I went through in my marriage with Terry as Hulk Hogan and what it entailed and what it has caused over the years and everything else. He's a complete liar. He is a sex addict. Your face out there and know that all these horrible things are going on behind the scenes. Yet he marches on. He marches on like, I'm promoting my own beer, real American beer. Yeah, look at me. Woo! Yeah, he's such a hero, right? Not. Okay, I'm going to give him my thumbs down. I've given him more opportunities to come back and make us a family and try to, I'm sorry, it's so sad.
Speaking to her daughter Brooke for some time.
It's been 15 or longer years since I left Hulk Hogan, and my family is in the worst mess. Brooke doesn't talk to us. She's had twins. She got married. She didn't tell us. She had twins. She didn't tell us. She had a huge fight with Terry.
His wife expressed that he was an abuser. His wife expressed that he was a child abuser. We just found out recently that apparently Brooke did not talk to him or Linda.
For like a decade.
But see, that make me look into Linda too, especially since you got to remember they've been separated since 08, 09 or some shit, probably a little bit before that. You know what I'm saying? Why wasn't you talking to your mother either?
She had gotten married. She had kids. She got a whole nother family.
Yeah. Now, by the way, this don't make me respect Brooke at all. She's still a white bitch because she chose to reproduce with a white man. She stuck with her values. But, maybe, because white folk is nasty, and maybe, he was daddling with her.
You never know what these crazy folk is at this point. And the mental and physical stuff there about some of these, people, man, because it goes all the way back to the old kings and queens and such in the old country in England and everything. That's how they kept those royal bloodlines intact, because they used to screw each other. Am I lying?
No.
Well, it's deeper,
No.
it's deeper than that.
White
Dude,
folk, you know, one thing about white folk is social media is exposing exactly the things that we knew about white folk, but how nasty they truly are.
And it's hilarious to me to see these people like, oh, the kings and queens and everything was like, no. Everything in their own history and their own text.
The thing is, we can see how nasty they are, and they still putting on this front that American Negroes are the worst, the bottom slime of every fucking thing. And I mean, they got shit of people going and going to go check, you know, the bathrooms to make sure there's no men in the girls' bathroom, so their daughters can use the bathroom, and there's men in there. Yeah. I've seen at least 10 videos.
Oh shit.
White folks spread pure filth, and I'm talking about sexual filth against children. You know what I'm saying? When, you know, y'all talk about our black on black crime. And it's funny because, like I said, black people, nobody take accountability for black people more than black person. Even if it's not the individual itself, yo, mama gonna take accountability for your brothers, so, you know, and then we take accountability for each other. You know what I'm saying? Well, we black people do this and we do that, you know, this, that, and other. People do take accountability. White folk don't take accountability for nothing. So when y'all talk about black on black crime, I'll say, okay, this, that, and other. You may be right, you may not be. This, that, and other. What about this? I go in the white community and just ping all types of fucking pedophiles. Just come up, all types, just dots every goddamn where. White on white crime is specifically in-house. More white folk kill their spouses, kill their children, kill their parents, kill their siblings.
There are so many cases. In fact, there was a case.
Anybody. Kurt Angle's brother killed his wife because he was drunk. He killed his wife and got sentenced to less than 10. He might be out. Less than 10 years.
This is a messed up case. I saw this today. Is that a man dismembers his wife and his in-laws and all this other stuff, and we got like died in prison, and there was like a puff piece written about him, like, oh no, this poor man died in prison, and then wiped down like after that all sad stuff. Oh, this is what happened, how he got there. And you see what this is, right?
I'm looking at the headlines of Hulk Hogan. Now, you got people that mentions it, but it's so lighthearted, and they brush over the issues that he had. They don't talk about the issues that he had with his family, though, his personal issues with his family, though. But they talk about it, and they brush over it. And then I listen to Malcolm Jamal Warner, and they talk, you know, just like they do Hulk Hogan. He was an amazing guy, this, that, and other. But Bill Cosby ruined the Cosby's legacy because and it just get deep, dark, and sinister. It just remind me of when Bill Cosby. Take a look at this clip.
The silliest thing in the world for somebody to get riled up because two black men show up with a gun and we're going to kill everybody. That's some kind of fantasy that you've laid out that you know in your heart it ain't going to exist. You tell me and prove to me that black people are violent and that they're going to take over, and I can open up the New York Daily News and show you white people who are killing their daughters, their husbands, their wives, their children, killing each other off. Well, if we put that in the paper and make it black and white, which is where the whole thing happens. It's in the paper. If a black man does something, it says, John Jones, black this, said black, 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 and did the black, black. Now, if a white man does it, it isn't white man Jones. It's just a man. Nondescript, just a regular old raggedy man, went out, killed his two daughters and his wife, and shot himself. Now, if he does that, then everybody seems to just either sympathize with it or let it go out the window. But if a black man does it, then any white bigot can point his finger and say, see that? There they go again. Well, that isn't right. It isn't right. And it isn't right to try and let America go this way.
It reminds me of when Bill Cosby said they would, when black people do this, is black, this, black, 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 black. This is how they describe it: thug, black, 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 blackity, black. And then when white folk do stuff, I got it. When white folk do stuff, is a man killed his wife. A man killed his wife.
Yeah. Or they do that little meme that they're like, "Oh, his family's perfect." And they have a nice little family picture of him, and they're like, "Oh, they killed all his
You
family."
know, HBK, I hope you can find some clips from the Ring Boy scandal because that was going on well within Hulk Hogan's like prime run. Like he was there.
It was going on within his prime run, and he was supposed to be he could have been the voice. You know, white folk protect each other. They don't take accountability because they don't want the world to know how nasty they is. Now, if they handle it in-house or not, obviously the punishment is not enough because Pat Patterson had a job till the day that he died. Why is a gay man your right-hand man anyway? What's going on?
This was probably gay.
I'm just saying, you know. For Hulk Hogan to be as filthy, and Hulk Hogan was never condemned for being as filthy as he was to his family. You know, although she may not say it, he probably was beating Linda. You know what I'm saying? He probably was beating his kids. You know, she dealt with the abuse of the steroids more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? And then he come home off the road and stuff and just wanting to fuck. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know. And she is a racist bitch too, but she been holding it down for Hulk Hogan for 30 years. And like I said, she took him. She got 70%. That's the only thing that Hulk Hogan was held accountable for. That's the only thing that he was punished for. His wife got majority of his wealth. You know what I'm saying? And Hulk Hogan had to grind to build that shit back up. But guess what? The opportunity was available for him. Let's talk about the money real quick. Hulk Hogan had sex with somebody and had a private conversation after sex. And the private conversation after sex had to go to your hatred toward American Negroes. Right? This tape got exposed and he sued for about $60 million or something like that. I don't have the proper number in front of me, but it was somewhere around that range. But I do know that this number is a fact. He won that case. Not only did he win that case, but the judge said, no, I'm rejecting this verdict. We're going to award you $110 million. Y'all hear what I just said?
Yeah, because Walker was just as dirty and as disgusting as any of those new stuff we have right now.
Now, would they do that with LeBron James if he was to win this deepfake case?
Probably not, because again, they have this whole country is just they hate black people so much. Heck, like I said, the George Floyd stuff.
You get exposed to being a racist and get awarded even more money just because we don't have that much time. He got awarded more money, and then on top of getting awarded more money, you know, they obviously went bankrupt, and I guess he settled for about what, $60 million, $30 million or some shit. It was like $30 million, and then Linda still ended up getting $16 million of that, even though they were well divorced. But my point is this, you know, for her, people don't realize how great it was for Hulk Hogan to be exploited as a racist because it led him to rebound after his divorce. She took houses, she took cars, and she took 70% of his money. That is a large amount of money.
When you get that dirt or what have you, Hogan couldn't stop. He couldn't stop doing the dirt and everything.
Racism, being exploited as a racist led you back to the money. And that's why I call Hulk Hogan a white supremacist. He benefits from a system of white supremacy. I don't call citizens white supremacists, but he is not your average citizen. Hulk Hogan white supremacist, and he benefited to that shit to the day that he died. You think that Hulk Hogan gave a fuck about dying? He had everything at his disposal his entire life. He lived the American dream.
Yeah, that's the problem. America, this country loves the race. It was born with racism. I think one person, Harvey, used to be a Superboy YouTuber and such. He says America was founded by racist thieves and opportunists. I think I'm paraphrasing that, but I think that is.
Hogan took every opportunity that he could.
Yeah.
He took every opportunity that he could and he ran with it. I can't listen. As a person, I can't knock him for that. You know what I'm saying? Protect your spot. But the racism is the thing that you put this veil over American Negroes' heads. So many children looked at you as this superhero to the point to where even when you died, they don't want to let you go.
And you said, right on to Hogan, him protecting the spot. But I mean, for people to credit him for, creating wrestling as we know it today, I mean, just think of how much his politicking deprived us of. Like, he still never put.
Well, I do want to say this. It worked for several reasons, for Hulk Hogan specific. You gotta remember, Hogan was a large man, a very charismatic man, but TV was that Kerry Von Erich could have been in that spot with Mr. T. I want y'all to realize who was the key to Hulk Hogan's success. The key to Hulk Hogan's success was Mr. T. Hunter, I talked to you personally a couple of months ago, and I was watching this Mr. T thing on YouTube with him and Hulk Hogan. It was a personal interview. They even showed it wasn't even edited. They were showing them from walking in to all this other different stuff to setting up the cameras and all that. It was literally behind the scenes, everything, including the whole interview. Mr. T did all the promotion. Mr. T did all the talking. Mr. T hyped that shit up, and Hogan said minimal Hulk Hogan stuff, and Mr. T did the work.
Are the lights, is that marginally better?
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I'm talking to two pros, but look at me
and do what you want. Up to a point.
How long is this piece?
Well, it'll be the closing piece for World News Tonight. Okay. So I know we'll keep the interview pretty concise because I don't want to waste their time. But okay. Let me start with you, Mr. T. You're a lead actor in a hit series. You're world famous. Shows a hit all over the world. How come you decided to climb into the ring?
I like violence. I say that because people always saying that our show is real violent, so I'm tired of going around trying to be the nice guy saying we're really not violent and all that stuff, So I'm people always saying certain negative things, so I'm agreeing with them, So that kills a point, I mean, a little reverse psychology I like to use there.
My daughter, who was a Cyndi Lauper fan, says that one of the things you said was that you came in because you felt that she was being unduly.
Exactly. Well, it was two things. I was sitting in Madison Square Garden when the incident happened, and plus, like I said, I've always been a great fan of the Hulks. We met when we did Rocky III. Then when I saw that happen, it was just two strikes. Number one, it was two guys jumping on the Hulk, and then when Cyndi Lauper screaming the protest, one of the guys slapped her. It's like I said, I would have been less than a man if I didn't intervene in there. Like I said, I think I was the only man in Madison Square Garden at that point. Because if there were any other meeting there, they would have jumped to the aid themselves. But a lot of wimps around here. That's why crime is so high in New York.
I saw you years ago win the bouncer competition.
Yes.
Is that training going to stand you in good stead when you get into the ring?
No, the training that I have getting out the ghetto, that's going to help me in the ring come Sunday with WrestleMania March 31st. See, winning the bouncer contest, I won that contest not because I was the toughest, the roughest, or the meanest, or the baddest. I won because the cause that I represented was far more greater than the other guy's cause. I wanted to win to feed the hungry and clothe the naked. That's why I won, because I'm grateful to God, and that's my power going into that bouncer contest. That enabled me to win. Other guy want to win, get him a new card or get him some clothes. I was just thanking God for giving me an ability to participate. So that makes me a winner right there. Like I tell the kids, whatever happened on March 31st, I'll always be a winner, whether I win or lose or whatever. But the fact that makes me a winner because I stand up for injustice. I stand up for the downtrodden, for the weak. I'm making a point, trying to get kids off drugs, trying to get kids away from the wrong crowd, trying to get kids off alcohol, trying to listen to their parents, stay in school. That makes me a winner.
Okay. Hulk, you're the WWF champion. wrestling's been big in this country, I don't know, for decades. It seems to me now it's getting a new kind of audience. I noticed Gloria Steinem, Andy Warhol. Are you guys becoming trendy in a way you never were before?
Well, it's been around for a long time. Like you said, it is like a new trend because there's a new breed of wrestlers that have entered the sport. The young, aggressive, athletic type guys. There are no more big fat slobs that are on top making a lot of money. This is a sport where the top guys in professional wrestling could have played anything they wanted, from professional football to hockey to baseball or whatever. There are a lot of great athletes. Most of the reasons for the guys being in the sport now is because there's a lot of money involved, and they've got a chance. They don't have to be participating in a team sport hidden by football helmets and pads and stuff like that. You can be an individual, and there's also a chance to express your personality, which is an entertainment factor that is added to the sport. So the whole thing encompasses a new breed of wrestlers, a new charisma, a new spirit involved, and it's bringing a lot of people out of the closet that used to just watch wrestling on TV. They see how exciting it is live in the arenas, and it's turned into a whole family extravaganza.
It struck me that, in a way, what you're up to in the ring and what rock performers have been doing ever since MTV is not all that different. I mean, we get to see these guys in person, we get to see what they look like, and as you say, wrestling is a sport where you get to know the individuals very well. Are you comfortable with that, with that link?
Well, it's like sports entertainment, that and the fact that the rock and roll crowd are one and the same. It's a very excitable crowd. It's a younger crowd, even though you see a lot of businessmen and families there, like I mentioned. But it's definitely entertainment with a lot of athletic ability involved. And that's what the people get off on. They're coming there to be entertained. And when I come out to the crowd yelling and screaming and flexing my arms and ripping my clothes off, the people really get off on the entertainment factor. But once that's all over with, they appreciate the fact that we are supreme athletes and we can perform and we can wrestle and we can get the job done. It's a whole entertainment, I don't know how you'd say it, it's a couple different worlds in one. And yes, to answer your question, the rock and roll fans and the wrestling fans are stark raving maniacs, one and the same.
So they really get off, it seems to me, both those crowds. When they get to a ring, 20,000 people in the Garden, there just seems to be such a release of energy.
Right, well, it's a psychological release. People come, they need this type of entertainment. Like I say, wrestling fans are unlike any other fans around. Wrestling fans don't attend soccer. They don't attend tennis matches. They want to get involved. That's them sophisticated crowd. Tennis, you don't holler, ooh, that's phony. You go there, your neck is hurting, you ain't released. You need some release. So they go to the wrestling, they can really get into, all right. Well, man, they feel good. They get their money worth. Like a baseball and say, oh, wow, get out of there, bum out. They upset. But when they read the wrestling, they can really be entertained. They thoroughly enjoy two athletes, that's skillful and talented. See them do all kind of moves and whatnot. It's artistic. It's like watching a flying trapeze, the artistry there. One guy dive off the ring post, boom, and another guy do this move and all that. Man, that's pretty. That's exciting. A lot of people that say, man, I wish I can do that. So you get a chance to cheer the good guy and boo the bad guy.
Now that both you guys, at least Sunday, you're good guys. You're heroes. It strikes me, you, Hulk, in particular, 30 years ago, you might not have been a good guy, because as I remember, people who looked like you were often the guys that the audience didn't like. How come both of you are good guys?
Well, we both represent something that everybody in America believes in and stands behind. We, like T says, we train, we say our prayers, we eat our vitamins, we don't mess around with drugs, we don't drink, and we play it real straight, And a lot of people, just by us telling the truth, a lot of people get off on that. That's all we have to do is tell the truth, And it's just with the thing we stand for and we believe in, sometimes people get a little upset with us because, like, when we're training out, we've been nasty to a lot of people. A lot of our fans we should have signed autographs for. We've got something on our mind. We've got March 31st, WrestleMania, the largest closed circuit event ever. We've got two guys, Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, who are known for taking cheap shots and kicking you in the teeth if they get a chance. And like I said, we'd like to apologize to all the people that stand behind us because maybe we've been a little irritable this week. We've been training hard. The guys have been punching me in the head all week, getting me up early, running me all over New York City. But a few years ago, maybe we would have been bad guys. But today, the people, I guess you could almost call it survival. We'll go out there and wrestle fair and square if that was the case. But if somebody gives us a cheap shot or tries to take advantage of us, the people get off on the fact that we're survivors and we'll give them one heck of a receipt. That's what the people like about us because we won't lay down and cry. If T gets his nose broke or his arms broke and he can't go to the A-team, you're not going to hear this man cry. He's going to say, hey, that's the way it was. WrestleMania, March 31st, 1985. There are no crybabies here involved, and the people get off on the fact that we're street smart, we're street fighters, and we'll fight for what we believe in no matter what it takes. Maybe a few years ago you could call us the bad guys, but I call us just survivors now.
Right. See, what's really happening is this here. See, people are looking beyond our physical, our look. Like you might say, sure, maybe a couple years ago, a long time ago, people might say, wow, them guys look like freaks or whatever. So people are looking beyond Mr. T Mandinka hairstyle or the Hulk ways with long hair and things like that. That's what I'm seeing. See, a long time ago, we were so quickly to judge somebody by their appearance. Not by what's in their heart, what's in their mind. So now we say, wow, we can't use that no more. So we got to start judging people as people. Like I said, we represent the good. We're not out there freebasing. We're not out there dealing with reefers or marijuana or enticing kids to drink or something like that. We're exactly the good. So slowly the kids already saw that. Slowly the parents are beginning to get into this. Say, wow, these guys are clean living guys, upstanding. And the average guy around, every guy would like to, it's amazing, and they stare at the Hulk built and whatnot. They say, man, I wish I was built like that guy, So and because of that brings about a lot of envy. So guys, they say, wow, they not being like that. So now they tell their wives don't go. Feel their wife might be glancing at his muscle and whatnot, and look at them. So all that goes into a play. That means I don't like him because you really think about it. Just to be realistic, Here we telling people to do good. We ain't telling nobody to do nothing bad or whatever. And some people are gonna have their problems with that, mainly because they throw something up a smoke screen for the real fact. They say, wow, since I'm not built like that guy, he might take my wife or my girlfriend. But kids don't see that. They see it good entertainment, clean living, and we need heroes these days. Because the heroes we used to have to wind up being junkies or something.
Now, wrestling also needs, it seems to me, really good villains. You got the Iron Sheik. Iran isn't too popular in this country. You got Volkov, is that his name? The Russian who stands there. And you could understand how an audience might resent the guy singing the Soviet national anthem in the middle of a ring. Why is Rowdy Roddy such a great villain? He really does seem to me to be a terrific bad guy. He just makes you want to do what you hope to do with him on Sunday. Tell me about it.
It's like these guys in this profession live this thing 24 hours a day. Maybe, I don't know why Roddy Piper has such a chip on his shoulder. Maybe a lot of people say that he's standing in my shadow. He wants to be the world's heavyweight champion. He wants to have 24-inch arms. He wants to be a role model for the kids. And sometimes people take a lot of shortcuts to try to get there, It's taken me 12 long years to get where I'm at in professional wrestling. And a lot of guys think they can make leaps and bounds and use people as stepping stones by taking shortcuts. And what I see in Roddy Piper's character is the attitude or the aggressiveness, I don't know the exact word you'd use, to be number one at what he does. And he's not going to get there by doing bad things or taking shortcuts. And it's a situation of when I look at the man, he's frustrated, he's irritated. And when I was in the ring, I saw the evil in his eyes. It was like looking at the devil. He's so frustrated. He wants what I have so bad it's eating him alive. And that's the cutoff point there. You're not going to get it by taking a cheap shot or a shortcut, because when you're right and when you're positive and you're in the right spot and you're doing the right things, it's hard to get knocked down when you're right.
What I mean is that there are people who say, well, like in politics, people fight and then they go out and have a drink, have dinner, whatever. Right. After Sunday, could you two see yourself going out with Roddy and his opponent and saying, well, it was all in good fun, now let's go out and have dinner? Is that how it works?
Nah. Well, you've asked a lot of good questions, and I'm not going to say that's a stupid question, but it's a little unrealistic. I don't believe in what Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper do. For instance, Paul Orndorff has one of the most dangerous holds in professional wrestling. It's called a pile driver, with a jam a man's spine by dropping him on his head. And I can appreciate the hold. I would call it a submission, deadly hold. But even after he wins the match, he goes on and punishes his opponents by maybe applying the hold again or trying to hurt him. And I don't see how we could, with everything that we stand for, believe, I don't see how after Sunday we could go out and be friends with these type of individuals, because they don't fit my lifestyle. I don't like their attitude, their personality, and I just don't get off on what they do. So the question that you asked, it's just unrealistic for me to be able to comprehend that. I just can't even ever imagine me being friends with Roddy Piper or Paul Orndorff unless they really did a whole U-turn in their whole lifestyle.
It's just like shaking the hand of a child molester. The guy is just wrong, period. You just can't be the company friend. See, anytime a guy becomes our opponent, he becomes our oppressor. When a man becomes our oppressor, he becomes our enemy. And when a man becomes our enemy, he must be destroyed. So that's what we got to do to these guys. There's no game, no joke here. I've been telling people this is serious business. If it wasn't serious, I would not have lost all these pounds I've lost. I would not have been training viciously and intensely and been as determined as I am. I sleep with this bar, take it everywhere I go. Not to try to look tough, but constantly, keep exercising, keep my mind on what I got to do. People ask me, why you not wearing the gold? The gold because it's serious business. I got to concentrate on what I got to do. I got to stay hungry. We got to have the eye of the tiger. We got to train 2 or 3 times a day. Not my idea to be giving all these interviews because our opponents not giving interviews. They are training, so they got to jump on us. So that's why I say I've been walking around with a chip on my shoulder with basically the bad attitude because I'm not feeling well. I'm not feeling well per se to do a lot of talking. I'm not trying to promote ticket sales or whatever. Whether somebody come to the match or not, we're gonna take care of these guys. We're gonna take them in the back alley somewhere. Make me no different. Because what I'm prepared to do is to take care of business. I ain't for no jokes and people asking whether D is a rookie or how they just gonna happen. Like I said, I got something for that. I got what I call Mr. T's 10 turbo torture test. The average guy can probably barely get to 1. Paul Ondorf and Roddy Piper and the ace Cowboy Bob Orton might get to 3 or 4, but no man gonna get to 10. Not alive.
All right, you've been very patient, so let me just ask you one last question about the future of wrestling. I mean, you've had a loyal audience ever since I was a kid. It was a big popular sport, filled the garden all the time. Is there a danger that if this thing becomes really hot, reaching audiences it never did before, as I say, you got Gloria Steinem and Andy Warhol and Joe Piscopo and Geraldine Ferraro rooting you on, is there a danger that your hardcore audience, people who've come year in and year out, are going to feel that you've lost touch a little bit? How do you prevent that?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll just make them feel that they were right all the time, that they were really a part of the foundation. And, sometimes we get a little irritated with people that make fun of wrestling or in years past made fun of wrestling. Now all of a sudden they're jumping on the bandwagon because it's the in thing to do. Wrestling is getting the highest ratings of almost any TV programs or shows on the air now. And all of a sudden people want to be seen at wrestling matches. They want to be seen with Mr. T and Hulk Hogan because Mr. T is now a part of wrestling. He has become as good as a professional wrestler. And on March 31st, we're going to find out just how good he is, And they want to be associated with Mr. T because he's with wrestling. They want to be associated with me. And we don't mind if they jump on the bandwagon, but if you do jump on, don't get off, If you're really a sport, if you're really a fan, stick with us because we're going to be here a long, long time.
Any predictions of that Sunday?
Pain.
We're going to win.
It won't be pretty. It won't be scientific. But we're going to win.
Got to.
Every day.
That's good. Just let us take a bit of a wide shot and be done.
Okay.
I do appreciate it. I know it's early.
Some really
I know
good questions, Some guys don't even know how to approach this,
I watch you guys.
Well, some guys don't even know nothing about it. They come in cold, and that's an insult.
They don't know who we are really or what
I'm
we're
old
doing.
enough to remember Haystacks Calhoun.
Oh my gosh.
600 pounds.
Right, I remember him.
Remember
we had a
Gorgeous
little
George?
TV.
I have just one question for you, man. You said you provide a role model for children a lot.
Right.
And you condone, you said violence, you like violence. Do you feel that providing a role model who likes violence may be detrimental to kids?
No, it's teaching kids to stand up for themselves. Kids won't beat up on themselves. Adults beat up on themselves. Kids will protect each other. Kids won't let their mothers be insulted. Let their sister be insulted by some jerk on the street. To me, like I said the other day, and I've been saying for years, it's a shame and it's an insult to so-called manhood. How can a man here in New York let his wife, his children be afraid to walk and play on the street? You buy you a house and your kids can't play on the street because some punk down the block or whatever. Where are the men in the neighborhood? Where are the men in society? We call ourselves a men because we can go to the gym and lift 200-300 pounds, or we can curse, or we can say we tough, we can get a woman pregnant, and that's supposed to make us a man. No. Kids, like I said, see, that's a problem. See, a lot of adults can't see, or a lot of adults have a problem with Mr. T. Just like you were talking about earlier about the people, people in South Africa. But like I said, basically other people like over here, they say, why is it all the kids like you, Mr. T? Because kids see truth and justice in the godly way in Mr. T, not the American way, because the American way have a way of lying and trickery. Kids see the love I have. When I tell a kid I love them, I mean it. I tell a kid that I'm going to stand up for them when they call me to go to court with them. They didn't call Magnum. They didn't call Superman? Why they didn't call the Smurf? Why they call Mr. T? Because they don't see Mr. T as black. They see Mr. T as a man who's gonna be there, who's gonna take off, who's not gonna get caught up in the money aspect of an A-team and say, hey man, I got to go be with the kids. If I am their true hero, nothing stands in between me and them. If they reach out to me, I would have been less than a man not to provide them with the protection and the guidance that they needed. They feel secure with Mr. T because Mr. T ain't gonna be lying. Ain't gonna be telling one thing, they ain't gonna do another. I ain't gonna tell no kid, don't do drugs, then go up in my room and snort cocaine. No, you won't catch me out there these places. They've been trying to set me up with this stuff because they want to undercut what I'm about. They hate that. Adults don't want to see that. A lot of men feel that's a threat to them if their child look up to Mr. T. But if he was a secure man with who he were, it wouldn't be no threat. He'd be saying, wow, you're doing a nice job, Mr. T. Very rare I get a man come up and tell me that. He said, Mr. T, I want to thank you for all the kind things you're doing with the kids. It makes me want to cry because I want to hug that man. Because it's rare that I get that. But some mothers can see that. So some men get insulted because they figure Mr. T trying to take their lady. All this still stuff, you know. But like I say, you would figure I'll be the most popular guy around. I'm telling kids, don't hang with the wrong crowd, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs. But you know what happened? Mr. T is stepping on toes. If I tell kids don't do drugs, the dope dealer don't like Mr. T. If I tell kids don't drink, the breweries association don't like Mr. T. If I tell kids don't smoke, Reynolds Tobacco Company don't like Mr. T. You see, if I tell kids don't hang out the wrong crowd, the thugs don't like Mr. T. You see what I mean? So a kid might say, wow, I want to be strong like Mr. T. But I tell kids, it's more to Mr. T than just my muscles. It's my heart that I can say no to drugs. I can say no to all these so-called orgies that they having. And people don't like that. Oh, Mr. T, look at me talking about 1 minute he talking about God, next minute he doing this here. Kids know the difference. You know, and why old number say, why you in there say violence? Kids gonna laugh at that because they know what's happening. Adults have the problem. That's why people say, Mr. T shows most violent on TV. I used to go around and say, no, he ain't violent. Everybody know if I was to hit a man with all the rings, I'm having me blood everywhere. But the kids know the difference. Adults have the problem. Know why? Jealousy. I'm that same black, nappy-headed kid from the south side of Chicago, living on welfare they used to laugh at. Used to look down to. Now they gotta look up to. You know, I'm not poor no more. I'm rich. That bothers a lot of people. I'm the same guy where we the same show people say wouldn't be on the air for 2 weeks. Mr. T and Georgia Paul wouldn't get along. I respect Georgia Paul as a father. People don't like that.
You know, the violence that being around Mr. T, the violence that he advocates is all really on a surface level, man. You know, we're not digging real deep and saying you need to go, Mr. T's not into robbing people or beating everybody up just because, you know, he's a bad guy. It's real.
I was just thinking about this, you know, before WrestleMania, you know, wrestling really wasn't a thing at all.
No, it was regional. No, I want to say, and mind you, WrestleMania was a trash-ass show. That was a trash-ass 3-minute main event. Let's not get it twisted now. The main event was only 3 minutes. And it was
really conceptualized like the ABA before it merged into the NBA. Like the NBA wasn't big like that. People,
but you know, Hogan was big in the AWA too. I don't want to forget that Hogan got
I was
over
about basketball. Like
I want to say this before Hogan got to his second run in WWF, before WrestleMania and all that shit. Hogan had that popularity in AWA.
Yep.
He really
AWA is where Hulkamania was born.
Here's the best part, but here's how he got over at AWA. That was towards the beginning of the end of the AWA, and they didn't have no young stars. And not only was Hogan a young star, look the shape that he was in. He was in better shape than everybody there. Larry Zbyszko, Nick Bockwinkel, Baron Vervansky. Hogan was something fresh eyes. They had Barry Gagne. What's his name?
Barry Gagne.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they had motherfuckers like Doma to his young people. Hogan got over in that specific part by being a young man. And then on top of that, Vern Gagne, he kept losing the title match to Vern Gagne, who was the old man. Remember, Vern Gagne was like 50 or 60 during that time, beating Hogan every match, and they'll do a dusty finish too. So they'll think that Hogan, so that's what got Hogan initially over, and then they capitalized on that. And then Mr. T
expanded him to the national level. I want to go back to the Mr. T thing because Mr. T was talking specifically in those interviews about wanting to keep black kids off. He wasn't saying black kids, but he kept saying kids out the streets, keeping them off of drugs, keeping them away from selling drugs because the crack epidemic was just beginning at that time and it was rising at that time. Not to mention Mr. T was in Chicago. And it started making me look more into Mr. T. I always knew Mr. T would always talk positive, but Mr. T not only gave money, he gave his time. Mr. T would go to court with American Negroes and stand up with American Negroes. The family will write him, hey, my son having a court date. Hey, can you come to this school? He was going to schools. Mr. T was giving his time. You know what I'm saying? He was giving his time. And then you didn't hear shit from Mr. T after the year 2000. Completely blacklisted, completely blackballed. But he did a hell of a lot of work for WrestleMania. He did a hell of a lot of him and Roddy Piper. They sold the fuck out of WrestleMania. Because I'll give Roddy Piper racist ass that credit too. Him and Roddy Piper worked well together. But Hogan just sat back and let Mr. T do the talking. Mr. T was the star when Hulk Hogan was around. Wait till I show you all this stuff. I'm gonna show y'all right now. People already looking at it on the shit. Wait till I show you all this stuff. Mr. T was the star when he was around. So we know that Hulk Hogan is a nasty son of a bitch to his family. We know that he's a nasty son of a bitch to his colleagues. And I don't give a shit about them. You know, they all nasty son of a bitches too. You know, Linda, what's up with her face? God damn, that bitch is fucked up. You would have thought he beat her ass yesterday.
Plastic surgery gone wrong.
Well, boy, Tiffany Stratton. The Street Profits is in the ring right now. Montez Ford just did. I'm tired of him doing these little flips and shit because y'all keep featuring him doing that, but y'all don't want to progress him nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Just get rid of him.
They just gonna have him keep doing that shit till he break his leg and then kick him out the door.
I would much rather the WWE come off and fight.
Well, they at least get the Street Profits on the pay-per-view at least. That's the crumb we're getting. It's crumbs,
but
ladies and
but
gentlemen.
they're not even tag team champions. The only way they could get it. The only way they could get it is if they wasn't tag team champions. I'm beyond that right now. And it's only because we don't have the time. I'll explain that in a second. Let me finish with this real quick. We recognize that Hogan is nasty towards his colleagues, but even worse, Hulk Hogan is nasty towards American Negroes. He stated that he would not allow his daughter to fuck an American Negro unless they were a billionaire that was standing 8 feet tall, which means there's no shot in hell. He also stated to Nick, his son, that if we die and get reincarnated, we better not be reincarnated as niggers. This is what he told his children.
That's what he told them.
This is what he told the children. So now we got more white children walking around here racist as hell. They gotta go too. And they all got children too. They gotta go too. We cannot have any more racists walking around this world. You know, Hulk Hogan was an abuser. Hulk Hogan was a child abuser. He was a child molester. He was a spousal abuser. He was a horrible human being. As a man, he was a horrible human being. As a boy, he is a horrible human being. But he crossed the line when he became a racist. So Hulk Hogan, I'm glad that you gone, you piece of shit.
Rest in peace.
I hope he don't even rest. I hope he have the most uncomfortable time for everlasting.
Hey, you're hot down here, brother.
Shit and the piss that you lay in. One more for the one time. Fuck you, Hulk Hogan.
Fuck that Hogan.
Break his back, fuck his ass.
Break your back, fuck your ass, and make your hamburger.
Hey.
Make that beer bottle, the pool stick.
So with that being said, we will be back for SummerSlam. We may do a live program, I'm not sure. But in the meantime, protect yourself as an individual and protect one another as family.
Please.
As our
now, don't
ancestor,
forget, I hated anybody that wasn't white.
Stated plainly.
Released. Now don't forget, I hated anybody that wasn't white.
One. And that's the way it is. We here at Wrestling with Racism hope that each and every single American Negro enjoyed this edition of Wrestling with Racism. As we can assure you that wrestling with racism is not the easiest thing in the world to do. We here at Wrestling with Racism aim to exploit white truths. However, white truths isn't the easiest thing to live through. As we continue to wrestle with racism, we are in the second half of our second season, and Wrestling with Racism is hiring for key positions. We are actively seeking an editor. If you are an editor and you are an American Negro, please feel free to DM me your resume. You must be in tune with professional wrestling and social issues regarding race, specifically with American Negroes. You may DM me at non-crackers@al with the L on the end on Twitter X, which is also the place where you can find more white truths. Wrestling with Racism is also actively seeking an associate producer. Please DM me your resume if you are interested in the position. You may also DM me at non-crackers@al on Twitter X, which is also where you can find more white truths. To American Negroes, we encourage you all to voice your opinion on the state of professional wrestling and American Negroes' participation in professional wrestling on camera and behind the scenes, also in executive roles. If you would like to join HBK 400, Deportation 2025, the owner of a stolen gun, and our trusted, valued correspondents, Foundational Bearded American, and Duke CT from the Duke CT Lounge, feel free to DM me at non-crackers@al on Twitter X, which is also the place where you can find more white truths. It is important for our voices to become collective as we are truly facing erasure. American Negroes, take care of yourself as an individual and protect one another as family. As our ancestor, Frankie Beverly, stated plainly, we are one, and that's the way it is. We here at Wrestling with Racism would like to thank each and every single American Negro for tuning in to this program. If you are not subscribed to Wrestling with Racism, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they are wrestling fans or not. Be sure to also tune in to Wrestling with Racism on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Spotify, and at non-crackers@al on Twitter X, where you can find more white truths. This is also very important as we continue to wrestle with racism. American Negroes and American Negroes only, feel free to leave your comments below.
Wrestling with Racism will return next week with a new edition of Wrestling with Racism. In the meantime, take care of yourselves as an individual, one another, as family, as our dearly beloved ancestor Frankie Beverly stated plainly.